Welcome to another episode of Unvarnished, where we talk to smart people from around the world of print. Today, I'm talking with John Bracamontes from Acumen Studios and Alyssa Willey from Pryntbase. They help printers improve their online presence, getting them noticed, getting them leads, and ultimately helping them close business. They'll share some of their tips and tricks that can help you up your online game. All right, so what has the last year taught the business world about marketing? You know, it's been a weird world. So what do you think are the top things that have happened in more of the marketing?
Oh, you want me to start with it?
You start with that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know, right? Like it's more virtual things. We were talking about this actually internally as well, and it was there's more virtual technology uses. People are having to change and shift and adapt, and it's real. Like so much has happened last year that forces you to see the change. Whether, like in good years, it's gradual. You don't necessarily see it as abruptly, but it's always happening. Technology's always changing. Had to adapt, had to use technologies to connect with businesses, to find new business, to even work with your existing customers, new partners. And so we were talking about how the engagement has to exist, how the way of finding and talking to new business exists. But then Alyssa was bringing up a good point about the products, the changes in the products based on how everything's changed. And I mean, you can talk to those, just what printers have been having to sell more of or change and add to their inventory.
Yeah, just different products over instead of promoting trade show graphics and these like big event displays, it's more the direct mail pieces or the COVID stuff. So like the masks, the floor graphics, just more business signage to say stay 6 feet, all the socially distant signage. There's been more and more printers are promoting that versus like the events because events are happening. And so I think that's the biggest change that we've seen from the products that are being promoted. But like John was saying, how printers are selling themselves too is just using the technology that was always there. It just they weren't just utilizing it until the last year.
All right, so there's a lot of talk about omnichannel, and I'm assuming a lot of your customers have gotten into omnichannel sooner than others. Do you have any anecdotal stories about how you're seeing more success, or for them, surviving a little bit better than others?
The digital marketing aspect typically is what gets them to the point of being omni-channel, if you will, right? Like you had, a lot of printers were doing their direct mail already. They're doing their calling and outreach. They're doing, on the ground, knocking on doors, going to trade shows. So the physical, the analog stuff was there. Why it's so important is you see, like last year, you can't have trade shows now. You're trying to go digital, and that in itself is a form of digital marketing where now you have the digital conferences, you're doing more Zoom, you're having smaller types of engagements where you're able to invite a handful of people. And there's not the expense of renting out a room or a space at a booth, things like that. So how do you get people to that though? I mean, you have your existing customers, so you're going to email them.
When a typical printer reaches out to you, what are they asking? What are they worried about? What are their concerns?
They're coming to us kind of with an opinion already formed that like I don't know if it's going to work. So they're asking the questions to feel confident in that we know the space within digital, but then also within the print industry. And so I feel like we're getting grilled a lot of the time on the industry, which is good because it's building the confidence, and that's why we are in this industry is because we know it and we know what works for printers. So they're asking a lot of those questions. So I think once they get the confidence in us and the trust in us, then they're leading into SEO. They're asking the specific questions on the tactics. So how to rank higher in the search engines. They may have worked with an SEO agency before where they spent a bunch of money and didn't see any results, and so they want to ask like, how are we going to do it differently? How are we going to get them ranking quickly? And then the last kind of category of questions that they're always asking is in terms of like targeting within the platforms. Again, we're in this industry because we know the audience within LinkedIn, within Facebook and Google, like what are the job titles, what are the industries you can target within those platforms. And I think that is always a big part of the discussion even before we start working with them. And just like the sales process is who and how would we get in front of the people we want to work with. So if it's schools, like what are those job titles that you would use, and location based and years experience, all those types of things across all the industries that printers are working in. They're coming to us with those questions to know like, oh, you guys know it and you guys are able to pull this off.
So they're coming in with with a bad taste in their mouth about digital. Um, can you give me a story about people being burned?
Well, I feel like with SEO and paid search, those are the biggest places where printers feel like they've been burned because it's really, really easy in paid search to just blow a ton of money. And like that, we pride ourselves in our process, especially with printers, that we set it up in a way to start low. Like we keep the cost low and we feel out the platform, we feel out the competition essentially to see like where can we actually show up for these terms without spending a ton of money while also getting conversions. And so a lot of printers, I feel like when we start working with them and we're like talking about paid search and setting up the campaigns, they're just like, okay, that's great. But we're like, no, wait, just like let us do it. And so same thing kind of goes for SEO, except for there's not as big of a budget. Like you're not spending money on ads, but SEO agencies, I mean, I feel like some of them say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna like get you ranking number 1," and then you don't hear from them forever. We're constantly making optimizations to the website to keep growing within search engines to keep improving performance. And so I don't know if you have a specific story, but that's just like in general how the conversations evolve with people we work with.
There isn't one story necessarily for what happens. The common theme is that I spent a bunch of money and I got no results. And then when we go in, and I mean, you've seen these, right? Like you go in to do an audit. So we'll audit what's happening. If they've done anything, we'll look at it and look at the history. And that's where you find the examples to share. And some are just too funny not to share. I mean, you look at someone's paid search account and they're trying to, let's just say they're trying to get signs. They're bidding on signs and they're bidding on terms like sign, the word sign. And it's so broad that you would spend so much money because it could be anything that isn't even related to sign. That's the horrible thing about Google. That's why you spend so much money. We'll go in and find a sign campaign and see you showed up for a search for like Cinderella boots. It's crazy. Like it makes no sense. And so you can't even, if you go in doing it that way, it seems right. It doesn't look wrong. And then you find Cinderella boots that you got someone clicked on your ad for that. What the heck is going on? Like this happens every day when we do these audits. That's what we find. And so when we go and do it, we make it so that can never happen. I mean, it lessens volume. It makes volume low, like Alyssa was saying, but it's the right traffic. It's actual customers. And
you're paying to get in front of the right people for them to click, for them to work with you. So.
What are the typical expectations when you start working with a printer? Are they expecting things too fast?
I mean, yes and no. I think if you're going to pay for someone to market for you and you also have ad spend, you expect to get results. So that's the are they expecting results too quickly piece? I would say no, because we understand. Like you want results, you're paying to have this work done and you're spending money on these ads, so you want to see results. So I would say no, but yes, because like with SEO, it takes time. You can optimize your entire website, but it's not going to magically, you're not going to be number 1 in the search results overnight. That's just not how it works. And for a lot of the printers we're working with, they've never had an ad account. So when we create Facebook and Google ads and LinkedIn ads accounts and start running these ads, the accounts have like a warm-up period where they're like, okay, you're a legit company and these are legit ads. Now we're getting to know the audience that you selected. And then, so it takes a little bit of time for these accounts to start showing your ads to the right people. And so the expectations are always to get results really, really fast. So that equals more sales. I think there's a I don't know how to say it. Printers are always coming to us saying, within a week, okay, let's change it. It's not working. We need to redo it. But then on the other hand, I get it,
Results are going to vary. The other thing is just expectation on the result. What is a result? Mm-hmm. What is a conversion? What does that mean to you? And so there's so many different metrics, especially in digital marketing. You can say, what is a conversion? It could be a phone call, a form fill, a click. A lot of people try to view like time on site. And for us, people come in, they want leads that turn into sales. So time on site is nothing. It's a KPI that you can track and look at engagement, but it's not someone in your hand to talk to. And so for us, it's let's get those things. Let's get those pieces of information to reach out. And it's that, what's the expectation of the person? Is it a sale? Can you purchase online? So e-commerce function. Are you tracking on the back end sales? Where it came from? How are you doing that? So we work through that with everybody, and that really is something that's unique to every business. What their capability is and how much time they want to put into that. But we definitely have answers for every situation.
All right, now talking about conversions, I've looked at a lot of our for DScoop. I've looked at a lot of member sites, and not to be mean, but they're terrible.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they're all awesome.
Well, I wish I could say that. Very few have, for me, like a real call to action, other than get a quote. And maybe that's a great idea, but I guess I'm thinking maybe it's not. So, how much work do you guys have to do to the existing websites to continue that? That momentum of getting them to the site and then making a conversion and doing something that's worthwhile, some kind of call to action that's really going to deliver the leads that you're looking for.
Most printers we work with, when we kick off, we start the work, there is rarely calls to actions at all. So the amount of work, to answer your question, is a lot. We know we're doing, we're easy, we have a process. We're like, recommendation is a form on every page. Like we say that, click to call, like a phone number. So if you're on mobile, you can just click the phone number and it opens the window and you're on the phone with people. So we're always adding calls to actions on almost all of the companies we're working with because they're non-existent. If you want to speak to like the quote part of it too, but we're adding conversion points to every page for almost everyone we're working with because they just don't exist, like you said. Like it's few and far between that there's a strong call to action, and then with like the landing pages we're creating, those are like super strong calls to action, whether it is a quote or it's check out this case study of this entire school we printed for, or this really cool car wrap. Whatever that call to action is, we feel very passionate about it being strong and clear because ultimately someone's filling that out, you're likely to turn them into a sale. So
for whatever reason, I actually don't have an answer for this, but a lot of printers have like multiple quote forms and it doesn't seem to make sense. There's a contact form, which when you get there kind of doubles as a quote form because it mentions that in the language. And then you have a button somewhere that says get a quote, and you go to a different page which has a quote form. And then there might be something that says get a quick quote somewhere else. It's just fewer fields, and that's cool. But it's all over the place, and it's hard to direct yourself. If you get there and you're a customer, which one do I use, right? And so there's that kind of thing. You run into quote forms that are extraordinarily detailed. You come in, you're having to choose the paper stock and the finish and is there going to be die cut? All the complexities that could potentially go into this, which we just call them conversion killers. I mean, someone who wants to go in, they're like, I just need 500 flyers that are color. They get it started. Like they want to just get going. And so by not allowing it to be that brief, they get overwhelmed by this. So there's so many things that we think about and go into, and that to your point, that's still just the quote. At that point, we're just talking about quote. And
how good are printers at targeting when it comes to digital? It seems to me like they're trying to talk to everyone versus really trying to focus on particular audiences.
Yeah, a lot of what we've seen from those that have been doing it is they're targeting too broad. So what we always do is we say, okay, let's focus. I guess we'll keep with the school example. Let's focus on schools. So who are the individuals within those schools that would make those decisions on what's getting printed and when and how? And so we're helping them refine that target audience, and then what are they targeting? So like, what's that product and service? And so totally agree with your statement that they're always just targeting way too broad. And so when we come in, we try and rein that in, because broad is fine, but it's just not going to get you the results that you want, because it's just, you're just going to be speaking generically to everyone about all of your products and services. So when someone sees it, they're going to be like, no, that's not for me. And so that's where we come in with them.
Yeah. A good example, this is why we love print so much too, though. They do it really well on the direct mail side. They know it. They know how to do it. They're pulling the business codes. They're doing the mailing and the list generation, list segmentation. They can kill that for companies, and they'll be able to send out direct mail just as precisely as we're able to do digital targeting. So it's funny because once you start talking about it that way, it makes sense to them. It's just they don't know what is available to be used for targeting. So and so we're doing the same thing basically, and just exposing it to them. Because if I'm a sales guy and I go into a school, I don't know who to talk to. I'm likely going to go to like the marketing department, and I start asking questions. Hey, it's me. Hey, who deals with this? You're asking those questions to get to the root, and we fortunately don't have to do that. We can say that we'll get in front of the people, and not only can we get in front of those people, let's get in front of the people who might influence them, and it costs you nothing until one of them shows interest and then comes and wants to talk to you. Then you pay. It's not like they're raising their hand, right? So the targeting gets even deeper because we're targeting a group, but then you're only having to pay and telling you to focus on the people who actually said, okay, yeah, I'm interested. You didn't have to knock on 100 doors. You're knocking on 100 doors at the same time, and when one person comes out and starts to talk to you, just talk to them. So it makes it a lot easier.
It's a really good analogy.
Do you think there's any bad habits that printers are routinely doing online?
Alyssa had the best one. We were talking about this. You have the best one.
Just not doing anything.
Doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the printers that are coming to us, they're doing next to nothing. So kick that habit by doing something, and that's usually where we're starting. We have this robust process, and it involves all these different all these different parts with all these different channels. But the something's never is better than nothing, and a lot of times we get resistance from these companies because they need it to look perfect and it needs to say the right thing. Where we're like, but if you just let it run, it'll bring people in, and we can refine it. We can make it look prettier or sound better later, but let's just get it up and get you in front of people, because then people are going to know that you exist. And so doing nothing is the worst habit, or just the lack of consistency. We'll see companies posting on social once every 3 weeks, which something's better than nothing in that case, but it's just you're not in front of those people, or they've sent out in the last 2 years 2 emails. And so that's really the justification behind what we're doing, because it's not this, for like social and email, for example, we're not trying to have this huge awareness and engagement. That's not our goal. Our goal is just visibility. You weren't in front of these people, and now you are. Whether or not you're working with them right now, they may continue to see what you're putting in front of them and then eventually talk to you. And so I would consider those bad habits. I don't know.
Yeah.
How would you think of?
Yeah. No, you said it.
So kind of leads me to the question of the reason that they're probably not posting regularly. So it comes down to frequency. Do you think they're afraid of what to post? Do you I mean, is it a question of they don't know what kind of content to be posting because they don't have anything to say? Oh, it's the same. We still have the same presses. We have the same kind of stuff we're doing. I mean, why aren't they posting, or why aren't they interacting more often?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. I think to the first point, they don't know what to say. For social is the example we're using, but blogs and emails, they don't know what to promote. And I get it. Like, you have this wide range of products, and you don't necessarily want to push one over the other. And so that's where we just start somewhere. And I also think that they're not doing it because bandwidth. Like, if I'm the owner and I'm in charge of marketing, I don't have a ton of time to dedicate to that. Or if I'm a designer that got tasked with doing digital marketing, I don't know what that is. Like, schools teach you, oh, digital marketing, it's this and this and this, and you get out there and you're like, I actually didn't learn that. I've never heard of these things. And so I think it's a combination of time, knowledge, not knowing what to say or how to say it. I think it could be a number of those things.
Yeah, that's perfect. And it's the other thing is this goes back to something else we talked about, where it's performance. If they're not seeing a quick direct result, it's like, well, why are we doing this? Let's stop. And it's going to depend on the channel. In social, we're talking about, if I just go and post on social, it's hard. It's not a good direct converting channel. That's just a fact. I mean, not consumer packaged goods. It's not even necessarily a direct converting channel. It's great for awareness and people staying top of mind, and that's true for the printer as well. But to expect that channel to be the place where conversions are coming from immediately, that just isn't happening. It's really not happening for almost anybody. If you're running ads, that's different because it's set up differently. But that's an expectation everyone should realize, and it's unfortunate that it's believed that should be the case. And so one could then argue, well, why do it? And the thing is, it's a part of building the trust. I mean, it is awareness, but if I'm a potential customer and I want to investigate this business I'm about to do business with or thinking about doing it with, there's a good chance, especially with print, that I'm going to go to one of these social channels because it's so visual and because I want to see. I'm going to go to the website, but then I'm going to go look for reviews. I'm going to look for, are they active? Are they just some, show me something. Make me believe
what they've done.
Exactly. So I'm looking for that. So if you're saying it, showing it, that's great. And there's definitely, again, a hierarchy there. I mean, you could post about employee of the month. You could post about your chili cook-off. You can post about then products you're doing, solutions and problems you solve. Like that full spectrum is good. We definitely see on the awareness stuff more often where it is we hired somebody new. Welcome to the team. We had a Pinewood Derby in the office. Look at it. That's awesome. That's great. But it really isn't going to necessarily be the thing that gets people to buy more from you. So we're saying throw that in for sure. And that's. So that telling that story helps kind of lead what to post there, and it can go a lot deeper. You can start talking about the business stuff to them. What's most profitable? What are you not selling that you want to sell more of? Let's start there. Throw that kind of stuff out there.
Okay, so I'll add that to the list. So Pinewood Derby. Let me just write that down.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Everybody, I get a lot of questions about, okay, what platform should I be on? Should I live on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok? How do you get them to focus?
You take that one.
Oh, how do we get them to focus? Tell them, these are the only places that work. That's the focus, right? The way that we talk about it is, you could be everywhere. For us, again, this is biased because we're focused on getting leads in quickly. So where does that come from? For us, LinkedIn is the number one source because there's more of an expectation, number one. It's business focused, and you're able to target so granularly. You are able to say, hey, I want to be in front of this industry, and I want to be in front of these people who have these job titles, and I want them to have this amount of seniority. By doing that, you're getting in front of the people you want to actually be in front of. So that makes total sense, and it's easy. But again, there's a percentage of those people that are active on that channel, right? So being on other channels makes sense because not everyone is only on that one channel. So what we'll say is, okay, you can be on Facebook, and that's great. You'll want to have it comes down to ads when it's on social. So if you're on Facebook and you have a business page and you post, virtually no one gets any visibility unless you have an army of employees and friends and family and customers who are prominent advocates,
sharing
everything.
and commenting.
So if you don't have that, which most people don't, because that's a strong ask, right? There's a way to do that, but it's very time consuming, very manual, it's internal. And if you put some ad spend behind it, instantly you're in front of more people and you can be in front of the right people. So unfortunately with Facebook, you don't have the same level of targeting or level of accurate targeting you do with LinkedIn. If I wanted to just target people who were interested in soccer and like beer and those types of things, consumer level stuff, that's great. you're all over it. You're good there. But if you want to be in front of specific businesses, specific industries, it's horrible. And so, how do you do that? Where when we're taking Google Ads, people search very specific words. get them to the site. If you're on LinkedIn, you target very specific people, get them to the site. And now we can retarget. So in that case, let's use Facebook and let's retarget them so we know that the people who came from Google search engine, the Google ads, the LinkedIn ads, they're the right people. So those are the only people seeing your ads on Facebook, the right people. Same with other display networks. So now you could be on any given website online, and through the Google Ad Network, you're retargeting. You could see it on this blog and that blog and on this website, this news site, this solution-based site. You show up. So again, there's awareness, there's conversions that come from it. So by explaining that model, it makes sense, and that's how we can get them to focus. But you also, when you work with the marketers in the companies, they want to have fun too. I mean, they want to do things that look cool, that are fun, that are new. And we're not telling them not to do it. We're just like, don't ask us to do it because that's you, like that. It's so personal, so intimate to the brand and the uniqueness of the company. And a lot of the things that need to go on a TikTok or that need to go on an Instagram Live, we can't facilitate that.
We're not there in the office. We're not there wrapping the car. Like you lose the value when it's like done by like an agency, for example. It has to be done by the people in-house in the moment, and that's when it really resonates with someone.
Yeah, I mean, look, I would love to see it. I would do on Instagram Live. There's a guy, I mean, I guess can I do a shout out here? Can I do that? Can I give a shout out? Okay, yeah. So there's a Print Design Academy. He's been doing great Instagram Lives. He's showing craft beer labels. He's making it fun, cool. He's a funny guy, good personality, and he's doing this and he's showing how these labels are built. That's great. We cannot replicate that. If you have a guy who's doing your changeovers on your equipment and he's got this awesome, he's just saying crazy things and he's into it, he's going nuts. Get that guy on camera. I mean, we unfortunately just can't replicate that. So definitely say do it, but those are the fun things that people can do. Just then you have us doing all the boring, just pulling levers, but we're for sure getting you new business from it. That's for sure.
Okay. Do you have any other cool examples of people that are doing some fun things?
Yes, for sure. So shout out to Print Design Academy. They're doing it really well. If you go on their Instagram channel, for example, and look at the stuff they're posting, they're showing really good labels. They're doing 30 days of craft beer labels, and there's a series that they'll go into, and they'll show different types of wraps, the sleeves and the shrinks, and how the ink's placed, and how it all gets done. It's really, really interesting, and it's what's needed, honestly, for the industry today, because a lot of young designers don't know the technicalities. Like people who are seasoned, they've been around for a while in print, they know a lot of the technical stuff. The younger people don't. So having this fun, engaging stuff is what's needed for the younger designers to learn and know and be able to be more intelligent about the work. But he just makes it fun, and he's doing lives on Instagram, so definitely check that out. And then another group who does it well is Polar Cutter, and I'm using Instagram as an example just because it's so visual and there's a lot of like funness to it. But Polar Cutter does a good job, and they're obviously targeting printers, but they're showing really cool shots and really cool work that they can do with the machines, and it's really artistic and it looks nice, and it caters well to us. We're all visual, we're marketers, just let's be honest, a lot of us are criticizing the look and feel of things, whether it's accurate or not, and they're doing it well. They make it look good, so definitely check those out. So Print Design Academy and Polar Cutter.
All right, John, can you kind of give me a 15 and 20 second elevator pitch for what Acumen is all about?
Yeah, most definitely. So Acumen, in general, we're just generating more leads and more sales for print companies, and we're doing it through digital marketing. So think SEO, PPC, social media, email. We're doing all of that, and we're the doers of the work. We've got a strategy. We have a plan. We've been doing this with printers for years, and so we've done our own research. We've put together what it takes to start out, not waste your time, not waste money, but actually get results. So more leads and more sales through online and digital marketing is what we focus on.
That's fantastic. So Alyssa, can you tell me a little bit more about what Pryntbase is and how printers can take advantage of it?
Yeah, it's the only digital marketing platform for printers. So unlike agencies, we've put together a platform that has step-by-step courses showing printers how to do the work, how to market themselves online. In addition to that, too, we have a ton of assets. So we have ready to go emails, social posts, blog outlines, campaigns, all to generate leads online, and that is ready to use. So you get access to learn how to do it yourself, or you can copy and paste and start marketing right away.
I just want to thank you both for taking the time to sit down with me today.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Yeah, you as well.